And hello once again. So welcome to another DVD and Blu Ray update. The first one for 2021 and the first video of 2021 in general. So most of these are Doctor Who's, and if you notice the title, I called this update The Beginning of the End because my Doctor Who collection is complete. Well, nearly complete, because I've finally got all the television stories, kind of like the stuff you need if you're going to have a Doctor Who collection. But now I've got things like the Peter Cushing films and Scream of the Shalka, and I might as well get Adventure in Space and Time and the special edition of Enemy of the World. So it's not technically complete yet, but we're getting there. It should hopefully be ready, finished by next month, I think, which actually isn't a bad track record because I started the collection in February 2016, so 5 years, to finish it, not too bad. So we'll start off with the few that aren't Doctor Who's. Starting off, because I'm sad, I got this. I got this, the Blu-rays, and 2 of the Doctor Who ones in 2020. This is the bonus material from the 2004 Star Wars trilogy box set, which you can buy these separately, even though, as you can see right there, they weren't intended to be sold separately. But yeah, I don't have the 2004 box set because the 2004 box set is the 2004 cut with it. I've got this box set instead, which is the one that came out in 2008, which was kind of a budget buy in a way, because this one actually has both the unaltered versions and the 2004 versions. But these ones, they're very, very light on extras, because for the 2004 cuts you only get the commentary, and on the original theatrical cuts you get the demo for Lego Star Wars 2. But this one, contains all the bonus features from the 2004 set, which, well, to be honest, I like the cover. The special features on here, they're a bit light when compared to what I assume you get on the Blu-ray set, because the Blu-ray set you get like 3 discs worth of extras, and now with the 4K set you get, like, each film has its own bonus disc, so that's about 9 discs worth of extras. This one's just 1 disc. But yeah, I'm not going to splash out 60 quid on the Blu-ray set. There's some nice early artwork on there, because Darth Vader looks completely different, as does Chewbacca and, to a degree, C-3PO. I think they use that cover on things like the novelisation. But anyway, here's the bonus material little thing you get with it. And the main reason I got this was for the 2.5-hour documentary Empire of Dreams, the story of the Star Wars trilogy, which I've still yet to watch. That's 2.5 hours, so I'm going to have to put a good amount of time, to actually get around to watching it, if I ever do get around to watching it. But yeah, I've heard this one is a good documentary from what I understand. There's been quite a few documentaries about Star Wars. There was The Making of Star Wars, which came out around about the same time the first film came out. There was from Star Wars to Jedi, The Making of a Saga. And a lot of those older making ofs from what I understand, haven't been ported over to newer releases. They tend to have like more up-to-date documentaries on them. And I don't even know if like this Empire of Dreams documentary is exclusive to this, or whether or not they've released it on Blu-ray. If you've got the Blu-ray set, let me know. But other than that, you get some fairly light stuff. You get The Birth of the Lightsaber, which is a sort of mini featurette, characters of Star Wars, the Force is with them, the legacy of Star Wars, and then you get sort of promotional stuff. You get Star Wars Episode 3 behind the scenes preview, The Return of Darth Vader, which is this came out before Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith came out in 2005, this came out in 2004, so as a result, you know, it's got sort of promotional stuff for it. Star Wars Battlefront 2 trailer, Star Wars Battlefront Xbox game demo. I don't have an Xbox, so I can't test it. Star Wars Episode 3 making the game, and then you're just kind of left with trailers and TV spots. That one includes the infamous Forbidden Love TV spot, which I've shared like a couple of times. It's essentially implying the romance between Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia. In its defense, though, it did come out before George Lucas wrote Empire and Jedi, where it turned out Luke and Leia were brother and sister. A never before seen production photo gallery, print and poster campaigns, and exclusive DVD-ROM content. So exclusive, we're not going to tell you what it is. Well, yeah, they have, because they've written it like tiny underneath in white text, but I can't be asked reading it. Next two are Blu Rays. And these Blu Rays are kind of proof about how impatient I am. I'll try and show you these both at the same time because they're kind of connected. Chasing Amy and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. These are the last two Kevin Smith films I needed. The last two ones I wanted out of his first, because I wanted his first 5 films, which are Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I'm not interested in like Clerks 2 or anything like that. These ones are out of print because last year the Miramax library was sold to Paramount. Formerly it was Lionsgate who had the rights to these, as you can see, Lionsgate. And before Lionsgate got them, it was the Walt Disney Company who had the Miramax library. And they dropped these out of print, and people were selling these for stupid prices on the second-hand market. I mean, I paid a bit much for these, in my honest opinion, because these were used. I think Chasing Amy was about £8 and Jay and Silent Bob was £5, but it was the cheapest. That was the price I was willing to pay. But I wasn't sure when they were going to be reissuing these two. And literally, like the day after I ordered these ones off Music Magpie, they reissued they've got a pre-order for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and Clerks. I'm not sure about Chasing Amy yet, but those two, they've got them on pre-order, so, and they're coming out on the 1st of February, so, you know, you might as well just wait if you really want these until the 1st of February and then get them. But yeah, here's Chasing Amy, which I've heard this is a good film. I've heard this one, I know this one got much better reviews than a lot of the other Kevin Smith films. I think this and Clerks got the best reviews. Because I know like Mallrats was really quite butchered by critics and it didn't do very well at the box office. Because I think it's because it was like shot in colour and had like a bigger budget to play with, and they kind of lost like a thing with Clerks, because Clerks was shot on 60mm and in black and white. But yeah, this one honestly is the one that intrigues me the least. Because I mean, I like Clerks, obviously I really like Clerks, and I really like Dogma as well. Mallrats I think is good, but this one I'm not so sure about. I mean, I might like it, but we'll find out. And then a film I am properly intrigued by, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I've heard this one's basically kind of like fan service, you know, to Jay and Silent Bob and, you know, the View Ask universe, which is what I suppose my films are nicknamed as. This one I'm slightly pissed off because for the bonus features you only get the commentary, because there was a 2-disc DVD of this, but the 2-disc DVD, I think it was quite light on it. It had some like fluff in it. He had like outtakes and things. But yeah, and here's the disc. Yeah, I've heard this one is actually really funny. I'll be definitely giving this one a go. Okay, so now we move on to the Doctor Who's. The first two Doctor Who's, and one of them is a box set I got in 2020. First one is the last box set I needed, the Black Guardian trilogy. This one has in it Mordrin Undead, Terminus and Enlightenment. 3 stories which aren't really that well regarded among fans. There's probably a reason why this is the last box that I got. So here the cases. Inside, first off we have Mordrin Undead, which I've heard this is the best of the trilogy. You get I know you get the Brigadier coming back in this briefly. Here's the disc. And it only goes downhill from here, folks. Terminus, or Terminal Boredness, as a lot of fans nickname it. This one is the departure of Nyssa. I've heard this one is kind of a bit boring. I mean, it's 4 parts, so it's... I mean, you can have that, you know, you can have like a 6-parter that flies by and a really boring 4-parter. Here's the disc. And Enlightenment. This one apparently didn't enlighten a lot of fans. This one has in it the original version, the original transmitted version, and a special edition which has like visual effects changes, and I think they cut it into a movie. The version I'll be watching obviously is the broadcast version. Here are the 2 discs. Here's the leaflet you get with it. Now we get to the standalone DVDs, and the only one I got in 2020, that is Battlefield. I've heard quite mixed things about this story. I believe this one is considered the weakest out of season 26, which was the last season of Classic Who. This one I'm honestly actually slightly intrigued by, you know, so I'll give this one a go. Well, obviously I'll watch them all, but, you know, I'm kind of excited for this one. This includes the, kind of like Enlightenment, it has the original version and a special edition. And there's actually 3 versions of this out there. There is the transmitted version. There was a version which was released on VHS in the 90s, and the VHS version had quite a lot of, you know, new visual effects and things. And then, but that version didn't come out on DVD. Instead, we got a different special edition on DVD. And I believe the only way you can actually get the 3 cuts is on Blu Ray. But I'm not actually that interested in getting the Blu Ray sets. I know, surprising. And I missed the boat on a lot of them, so... And I don't think they're going to be reissuing them anytime soon. So now I move on to the ones I got in 2021, and these are basically the last ones you need, basically, when you're trying to have a Doctor Who collection. You know, it's a bit like when you buy like a tub of Celebrations or something. Like, the first ones you go for are things like the Teasers and the Galaxies and things like that, and then you're left with the Bounties or the Milky Ways. So you're kind of left with the shit ones, and these are kind of like the Bounties and the Milky Ways of the Doctor Who collection. All those awful, like when you get a tub of Swizzlers, like those awful chalk lollies or Love Hearts. Okay, I've kind of grown more tolerant of Love Hearts, but still, no, not a fan. So let's start. The first one is fairly infamous, not an infamous story, but an infamous DVD release. And this was one I'm actually was seriously debating whether or not to buy it or not. And it is, oh dear, Jamie. It was a rubbish second Doctor impression there. The Underwater Menace. Includes previously unreleased episode. This was the last Troughton one I needed. Troughton is probably my favourite Doctor, although it's hard to pick. It's either Troughton or Pertwee. It's really hard to pick which one I prefer. This DVD release, the story itself is considered the worst Troughton story, but the DVD release, they kept cancelling it, they kept delaying it. The episode 3 they've always had in their archives, but then episode 2 was recovered in 2011, but it took until 2015 for them to finally release the found episode. This one, they were originally going to do animation, but the BBC decided, it'd be too expensive. So the commissioning editor told the restoration team to make the shittest telesnap reconstruction possible. Like no animation, no using the opening titles, no like clever editing, no little things at the bottom telling you what the hell's going on, and you have to show the pictures in order. I don't know what the hell the commissioning editor was playing at, but the Doctor Who restoration team did say they'd offer to entertain an actual decent reconstruction at no extra cost, and the commissioning editor basically told them to fuck off. Okay, he didn't tell them to fuck off, he said no thank you, but that's basically what he's saying. So yeah, the reconstruction on this is, from what I understand, absolutely awful. They just none of the pictures actually match the audio, so I'm kind of slightly dreading this one. I don't know if they're going to put out a special edition. I think they put out a special edition of Web of Fear. It's on pre-order, but I don't think this one will get the same treatment because it's not as beloved as Web of Fear. I've seen episode 3, which was on Lost in Time, and I wasn't that keen on it. It was just a bit crap. But of course, obviously, you must never judge a whole story based on one episode, because, obviously, the rest of the episodes provide the context. And this one, even the little leaflet thing doesn't offer any potential. It just basically slags the story off. This is as close as Doctor Who ever got to a cartoon. It's unashamedly barking the lost city of Atlantis, fish people, mad scientist, the end of the world. There's even a moment of huge peril as the Doctor and his companions are suspended over a shark tank. You can be forgiven for thinking you tuned into 1960s Batman. You may wish you had. Yeah, even the little leaflet things doesn't say it's any good. I mean, it's a bit cheeky, honestly, basically slagging the story off, because even the truly infamous stories, they don't have the leaflet thing slagging the story off. That's the fans' job to slag the story off. But yeah, so that was the last 60s one. Now these are all 80s ones. Starting off with 2 Peter Davisons. The first one is 4 to Doomsday. The cover was slightly damaged when I got it from Amazon. I don't know why, but never mind. I've heard this one is kind of a bit of an unmemorable one. Peter Davison. This was actually his first one recorded, because the first one transmitted was Castrovalva, but the first one he recorded was 4 to Doomsday. Here's the disc. And then final Peter Davison one, Black Orchid, which honestly does intrigue me quite a bit. This is the last sort of proper pure historical. They never did. The previous pure historical was the Highlanders from the Troughton era, and this one is a 2-parter, kind of like a murder mystery type thing. Here's the disc. Colin Baker. Now we get some truly infamous stories now, starting with the Twin Dilemma. Of course, infamously crap story. Kind of a pretty poor way to introduce a new Doctor, because this was the end of season 21, and before this there was Caves of Androzani, which is considered the best story, a classic Who, and now we get this, which is considered the worst. Yeah, I've actually heard this one is kind of so bad it's funny, in kind of an ironic way. So, yeah, make what you will. And then, Time Lash. Another infamous story. This one I think is considered. I think this one has the worst reception of the Colin Baker era. I do like that guy right there. I don't know what the hell his name. I forgot what his name is, but I do like the makeup on him. But really, other than that, you know, this one, from what I understand, is really, really cheap. I mean, come on, the Time Lash thing is literally just looks like a Christmas decoration. Here's the disc. Now we move on to Sylvester McCoy. Now I'm kind of stuck with, these are all from his first season, which is considered the worst season of Classic Who. So we'll start off with Time in the Rani, which I've heard this one, I've heard this one's rubbish, but I think some people consider this their guilty pleasure. This one, actually this isn't the original case it came in. I ordered a bulk of about 25 silver cases off eBay, you know, so I could put my reconstructions into the proper silver cases, and I've got all the clear cases spares. This is the original case it came in, and I got this from Amazon, and it came from Amazon themselves, so I couldn't have got like a bootleg or anything. But what happened was it was shrink wrapped in such a weird way, so it actually damaged the back of the cover. It didn't damage the sleeve, although the sleeve is a little bit damaged because it got nicked right there, and it nicked the bit of the case right there. So that's not very good. They oddly also used the reversible cover, because with the older BBC logo. I've put it right now, and I've put it, you know, with the proper cover. And it had a sticker right here on the back. So I ordered the ones which had the things for the swing trays, so that way when they do bring out new sort of animated ones, because they're usually multi-disc sets, I can pop the swing tray in. Because I think like the ones with the things for the swing tray are far more practical, because the ones without the swing trays are a lot more limited. Paradise Towers. Again, another infamous story. I've heard this one. Now, I've heard this one's quite polarised, more polarised than Time in the Rani. You either love it or you hate it. You have Richard Bryars playing the villain. Yes, the good life Richard Bryars. Why? It was just another example of like John Nathan Turner stunt casting, and you can obviously tell he's not trying to be Hitler. He's absolutely not. There's no connection. He's not trying to be Hitler at all. This one also came in a clear case. As you can see, it's got the little swing tray things. The clear case it came in is a little bit more normal. You know, it came in the way it should. But oddly, despite the fact that it came in a clear case, so that implies this is a fairly new pressing. What lurks behind the little leaflet thing? This, a leaflet for the Doctor Who experience. Why? I mean, I can get it if it's like from the first couple of pressings, you know, to have this. But why are they still including this leaflet in this particular DVD? If you do have if you do have Paradise Towers, then please tell me if yours has the leaflet. But this one's quite old because it's got Matt Smith on it. And this DVD came out in 2011, I think. Let's see. Yeah, 2011. So Matt Smith was the current Doctor at the time. And you know what's even better? The Doctor Who experience closed in 2017. So this is even more redundant. It's just why? I've got a few like leaflet things in some of my Doctor Who DVDs, but typically the ones which had leaflets in are typically sort of like the newer released ones, you know, newer pressings. But this one is just a bit strange why it has the leaflet in it. And then the final Sylvester McCoy story, Delta and the Bannermen. This one I've heard is absolutely bonkers, and honestly this is another one I kind of want to watch. This is the one which I believe takes place in Butlins. I think this is the Butlins one. Could be wrong. Yeah, no, it is the Butlins one. Although I don't think it takes place in Butlins itself. I think it's like in a sort of like a weird version of a holiday camp, but it is basically supposed to be Butlins. Here's the disc. So yeah, that is it. That is everything. And next update, you'll be seeing the last few Doctor Who's I needed, and then that'll be it. You'll be seeing no more Doctor Who in the collection updates in future. Well, technically you won't, because you know, they might bring out, you know, new releases with animation. So it technically isn't entirely complete yet because they're still bringing them out. But for like the surviving episodes, it's basically done. So yeah, that is it for now. Till next time. Goodbye.